All right, everybody, I'm going to try and do this again. I had 1 second left in the video I just made, and it had an error. Gotta love the internet, and gotta love that it only happens anytime I talk about gold and silver. Go figure. So maybe it's an NSA agent, so if it is, that's for you. All right, for the rest of us, we see right now the call I made yesterday to purchase yesterday ended up being something that is showing to be correct. Brain freeze and just a little aggravated at the moment, but I will get over it. We see that gold and silver is recovering a little bit, so the dip has not continued. Just I kind of had that feeling that such a big drop yesterday when the Asian market would open, I really thought they would start buying it, and that's exactly what you see is done. Right now we see gold at around 15, and it's changing every couple of seconds. So it's hovering around plus 15 at around 12.95. Silver's recovered about 40 cents already, over $20 again. To me, this really just shows that the paper price is something we don't need to be concerned about. And I always preach long term. So for me, that's 1 year to 5 years. Because unless you think the governments throughout the world are being totally fiscally responsible, and every time they do another quantitative easing program where they devalue the currency, if you think that's working, well, then you don't need precious metals. Also, if you're buying precious metals in the physical form to have a quick turnaround, at least if you're watching my videos, you're not getting my information properly because I've never said use them for a quick turnaround. Save them for protection against the collapse and storage of your wealth. So if you're upset that your quick turnaround to make some profit didn't work out for you, well, you didn't come and learn that from this channel. So that's something that you have to decide on if you want to continue to do in the future. So with that being said, for me, I would rather be storing physical gold and silver and not care about the prices because I am protecting my wealth and also I'm using my money more wisely. Because I know me, if I would have had all of that money that I spent on gold and silver, I would have bought gadgets, I would have bought trinkets, I would have went to movies, went to bars, went to the clubs, did all these different things where there would be no return. And if you look at things like laptops, cell phones, all these other things like DVD players, Blu-ray players, TVs, you're not going to get the same money back that you paid into them. I mean, let's put an example. If you bought the first Blu-ray player, Sony Blu-ray came out, it was $999. How much do you think you're getting for that Blu-ray player now? $50 if you're lucky. So where's your return on that purchase? What about one of the first HD-ready TVs that was only 480p? Those TVs were going for $1,000, $2,000, up to $5,000. How much do you think you're getting for those these days? Probably nothing at all. What about your cell phone that you bought in 2005? You know, the latest gadget at the time. No one's buying it now. So my point is, my money is being put in a place that even with the dips, I could still protect my wealth in the long term. So I'm not worried about these dips because it just means my cost average will be lower when I make these purchases. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. And plus the fact we can see with all the quantitative easing programs, or whatever they call it elsewhere in the world, the governments and the Federal Reserves are being fiscally irresponsible. And every time they print more money, which gives the false sense of a recovery. So if you want to believe the numbers in the government are accurate, you know, that's your thing. But every time they print more money, it's devaluing your currency. You're losing wealth. So if you're one of those people that says, well, I don't want to invest in physical gold and silver, you know, I just want to put my money in the bank, which is what we were told in school and what we're told on television from the media, is you want to have a savings account and save your money. Well, every single time they print more money, you've lost money. You've lost purchasing power because you need more of your savings to pay for whatever it is you're buying, like gas and food and other necessities. So when it comes to their quantitative easing programs, obviously they're doing it because they want to ultimately destroy the currency so they can create a one world currency. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant because you don't have to believe in something for it to happen. Like you could say, I don't believe in oxygen. It doesn't mean it's not there. And just because you can't see it does not mean it doesn't exist. So if you think that the government is being fiscally responsible, then why aren't things improving? Why are there so many people on welfare and food stamps and Medicaid and disability? If there's a recovery, why aren't there so many like mom and pop stores opening up and people being able to get loans. How many of you out there can get a loan for a house at this point, even with these low interest rates? Because if you don't have perfect credit, you're not getting a loan anymore. So what did the banks do with all that money that they got from our, bailout programs, which is basically theft of our money so they can gamble away and continue to ride in their fancy limousines and live in their mansions while we all struggle trying to find our next meal. So, like I've said, guys, when you see this bullion market, it's all about emotion. That's what they want you to be like, and that's why most people will panic if it goes high, and they'll rush and buy. They'll panic in that way, and then when it starts dropping, they'll panic and sell because they think they're losing their wealth, and they're doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to buy low and sell high. That makes sense, doesn't it? And it seems like common sense. But the average person out there doesn't do that, because when something is low, it's stagnant, no one pays attention to it. And it's not until it starts rising and all of a sudden the media, which is paid and bought and paid for, starts talking about something to create that buzz, that's when people start buying in. That's not the best time to buy. And I've had to learn my lessons too, because back in 2011, when I didn't know what I know now, there was more emotion in my decisions. Now that I know all the things that I've learned, I know that even with these dips, it's short term. If it takes even 5 years, in the grand scheme of things, 5 years is not a long time to wait unless you're 90 years old or you're a person that's about to lose everything and you need to cash out. But I've even told people this. Let's say you had $1,000 worth of metal that you saved, that you bought 5 years ago, and or another person had $1,000 in cash that they put in the bank. Which one do you think is going to have more value in it? The $1,000 cash that they had, or the $1,000 worth of metals that they bought 5 years ago? Because even with these dips, I can pretty much safely say that they bought them for even cheaper, which means they have more purchasing power. So it's all about protection. If you're doing it for short-term gains, then in my opinion, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, at least from what I talk about on my channel. And of course, like I say, guys, you have to do your own due diligence. Don't just base any decision that you decide to make, especially financially, on what anybody else or any one particular person says. You should be doing your own research. You should be getting multiple aspects of what's going on. You should research. So if you're going to blame anybody, the only person you can ultimately blame is yourself. Because, like, for example, if I was making videos saying, you should jump off a cliff, well, if you're stupid enough to do it, then is it my fault you decided to do it? Or were you just another person that follows what other people tell you to do? So don't be a follower, be a leader, be an individual. And that's why people like myself and others tend to get hated on a lot, because we stand out and we're not afraid to take risks. Now, not everything in life is guaranteed. I'm not going to sit here and say I've gotten everything right. But on the other hand, I haven't gotten every single thing wrong either. Even though there are some people that, especially one that I had to recently block again, seems to think everything I do and say is automatically wrong. Well, in my opinion, that person should go find somebody else that resonates with them. So as far as I'm concerned, is there going to be another dip in the markets? Possibly. But it didn't happen today. So if you waited too long, you missed an opportunity to buy at a cheaper price. If you're buying for the future and you're not worried about price, then obviously that's not really a factor, but who doesn't like to get it a little cheaper? So I'm going to leave the video at that. This video is probably not as good as the one I did last time, but hey, there's nothing I can do about that. That's modern technology for you. So if you want to trust in your governments throughout the world that are printing money like it's going out of style, if you think that's going to save our nations, then your heads are in the clouds, because people wouldn't be on welfare. There wouldn't be $4 a gallon gas. Food wouldn't be as expensive as it is. And there would be a lot more jobs out there, and people would be working and being more productive. That's just not happening. So they can doctor the numbers any way they want. If people want to believe in them because it makes them sleep better at night, that's up to them. I, in my own opinion, think that physical gold and silver in the long term will be beneficial. I'm not concerned about what anybody else thinks about it. I'm not here for anybody else's life but my own. If what I say helps somebody else, then that's an amazing thing, and I wish good things on everyone. So when you're ready to leave a comment, just be civil, be adult, be respectful. Let's all work together. If you have a difference of opinion, share it with us. Give us your ideas. Don't just insult and say things that you find funny, because it actually makes you look pretty sad. With that being said, I'm ending it now. Have a great day. Check out your physical gold and silver, and never second guess what you decided to do. Don't let others make you rethink your decisions. Because if you did it because your heart said it's the right thing to do, then you did the right thing. Sometimes the right thing doesn't always happen overnight. All right, guys? Thanks for watching. Peace.